Joseph, do you want to briefly share who you are, your role, and what company you work for?
Sure. My name is Joseph Murphy. I work with Ltra. My role here is Senior Vice President over Utilities Division, which encompasses not only subsurface utility engineering, but also utility design and utility coordination. So anything utility related runs through me.
What would you say is the one thing that you like the most about your role and what you do at your job? What's the one thing that you hang your hat on that you really enjoy?
It's always challenging, so there's always some kind of puzzle to put together and to find that solution. So every job is not the same. The process might be the same, but the actual challenge for each job is always different. So it's always satisfying at the end of the day saying, yeah, we found everything that we were looking for in this job. So like I said, it's fun. I enjoy it. Still pretty passionate about what I do, and I still get involved every day with the day-to-day.
What are some of the challenges that you run into specifically regarding utilities for projects before you started using 4M?
So a couple of the challenges are just finding good record data. And we know it may or may not be out there, but actually being able to obtain it. And then even pricing projects. So when we get a proposal request, how much is it going to cost to do this? And then normally we'd have to go out in the field and kind of look around or look on Google Earth. And now 4M's kind of provided us an avenue to look at it in real time really quick and say, okay, here's a pretty good idea, and I can put together a better fee proposal now. So that was one of the biggest challenges we were able to overcome.
And why do you think that is, in terms of it's being hard to nail down reliable utility data and get this access to this data for proposals traditionally? Why was that so challenging?
There's not really one specific location that all utility data is being housed or stored. So you'd have to go to different agencies. You go to the city, go to the franchise utilities, go to GIS or Railroad Commission, like here in Texas. So there's so many different places that you have to reach out to, and we still do, but RAM kind of consolidates everything into one nice, neat package.
It sounds like there's a lot of information in different places. How is it in terms of getting that information back? So you reach out to, say, a municipality. Does it take a while to get information back? Is that another challenge that you ran into? Not only is this information in different places, but it's staggered, the responses that you get?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have to make a utility log to kind of track who we sent emails to and follow up after specific dates if we're not receiving data in a timely manner. So there's that part of the challenge. We may be done with the job by the time we actually get the records that we requested. So we like to get things within a week or two. Is pretty normal. There are some, like you said, that they take months. Could just go back and forth, or it sits in a queue somewhere, and you just never know when you're going to get it or if you're going to get it.
That's one of the things we hear often is it's not that we couldn't get the information. Like, we usually can get the information, it's just not when we need it. It's a little too late. What was the reason to begin looking at a new solution to obtain, reliable utility data quicker? Is there something that triggered that search for a new solution?
I think it just kind of fell into our lap. I may have saw something on LinkedIn or one of my scrolls, and I think I saw one of the products you guys used that I did. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I clicked on it and just to kind of see what you guys did, and then obviously listened to a few of your presentations. And I think it's been 3 or 4 years now, just kind of working with you guys on getting better and better.
Awesome. Well, that's good to hear too. From a marketing perspective, half the battle is getting somebody to stop their scroll on LinkedIn. Did you have any initial doubts utilizing this technology? I mean, we're talking about AI. It seems like a buzzword. Everybody's using that word now. And I know for myself, it can be skeptical at times in terms of like, well, how reliable really is this? How does it work? There's maybe a lot of questions that you had. Did you have any initial doubts of using 4M before you guys came on board?
Oh, for sure. We had lots of doubts just because, how accurate, where's all the information coming from? Is it really reliable, or are they going to miss something? There's definitely a lot of things that we had to look into or double check to, before you get a little bit of a comfort level on the data that you're receiving. But yeah, it's been surprising. We did a few comparisons here and there along the way to traditional record research versus what we found versus what you guys provided, and it's been pretty interesting so far. So.
Awesome. So that was how we built trust with you. You right. Did a comparison of, you already knew this was out in the field. You compared it to what our data said, seemed to line up pretty well or be pretty accurate. And so that gave you the confidence to move forward.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I felt that, we could keep using you guys, because it's definitely going to be reliable data.
Can you tell me a little bit more about how LTRA is using 4M in terms of your workflow? How are you using 4M with your projects today?
So we did subscribe to the real-time data. So every single job before we start, we do 4M. So it's the first thing we do. Once we know our project limits, we utilize the real-time data, whether it's just even for a cost estimate or if we already have a job. Yeah, it's just part of our terminology now. Did you do 4M on this job yet? Or, hey, go ahead and do 4M right when you start. So it's almost step one. We still request the records, but 4M's right simultaneously done for everything we do now.
I love to hear that. So when a project starts or you're starting to do a proposal, 4M is a great starting place to begin. In terms of the main challenges that 4M helps you overcome today, what would you say that is?
The biggest challenge was finding records. So if we have a good list of those utility companies, we can get one through our one call and other things, but then having another supplemental list of, hey, here's everybody that's there, because that real-time data gives you everything you need, and as far as the list of all the owners. So it helps us make sure we're not missing somebody being identified. It gives us a quick little snapshot of what's there. I can put together an estimate, in a day. Now, hey, there's this many linear feet of this utility, so it's like great, because then now I can estimate off of that to come up with a good fee proposal. So those are a couple things that pretty much at least once, twice, maybe 3 times a week that we use 4M for.
How long would it take you to do those estimates? You say it could take you a day now using 4M. What would it typically take for these estimates and these proposals?
Depending on how big the job is, we would either do a Google Earth kind of street view, fly through, kind of see what's there just based on surface, or we'd send somebody out to actually go drive it just to make sure that we're finding everything. Now with real-time data, it shows manholes and things like that, power poles. There's just so much more data that's right there at the fingertips that we could use so to be able to quickly come up with how much is out there and estimate how long it's going to take to find everything.
Yeah, our foundation data, having instant access to reliable utility data, it can be obviously a game changer in terms of workflows, especially if you're having to locate in remote areas. How often are you having to travel to remote areas to do this research? And obviously there's travel time. I don't know if there's even situations where you have to stay overnight. There's costs to that as well. I can see that it being very valuable in terms of something that's not in your backyard, where you can just leave the office and be there in 2 minutes. Does that seem like the case where you have a lot of projects or a lot of proposals that are in more remote areas that are further away from your office?
There's probably a good percentage, because we do work in the whole state, so we're all over. Obviously we can't send somebody to every single job, so sometimes we do either a Google Earth review or just make a good educated guess based on where it is, and being able to use that real-time data kind of takes some of those surprises out of the equation.
Would you be able to share a specific moment where 4M helped you with a significant breakthrough in your project or workflow?
Yeah, because we have a schematic department here at Ltra, so they're doing a lot of roads that are across country. They just kind of they're trying to pick different routes for extending roadways and freeways and things like that. So being able to use some of that data to find those little remote little water systems and things like that they're not going to show up on anybody's one call or things like that. And it's like, bam, hey, there's a water line here that we need to make sure we account for. There's been a couple of those that have popped up that probably wouldn't have found normally, or we would have found it maybe eventually, but not as quickly as you guys were able to help us out with.
What would you say is the biggest value 4M provides? If there was one thing.
Innovation. I think that's been the key to us, because not only are you sticking with the initial, hey, we're going to help you with records and things like that, being able to watch the growth and the add-ons that you are providing throughout. So I could tell you guys are listening, and then just the little things like adding manholes and telephone poles to the real-time data and the rest of it has been huge. Because it's something that provides definitely some value to us and just some better information. Plus, just even from the beginning, you flip it over to the back end of when we're doing a project. Now I've got something else to help do a QC check on it as well. I've got all the records, and if I don't have a record, but I have something from 4M, at least I can say, hey, did we investigate this utility owner or this utility line? So it gives me a little bit greater confidence before I sign and seal a set of plans.
Do you feel like 4M gives you a competitive edge where you guys are on the bleeding edge of innovation? You're implementing these new technologies where maybe some of your competition is still doing what they've always done?
For sure. There's nothing more fun than going to a kickoff meeting, or you're doing a scoping meeting with someone, and they pull up the area, and I could pull up the area, and I drop a 4M image right there in real time while they're watching it. I'm doing it for them, and they're like, bam, here's the utility data, and this is why, what we're going to be looking at. And we had an owner not too long ago just actually look at their civil engineer who was doing some other stuff for them. They're like, do you guys use that? So it gave them a little bit more confidence that we know what we're doing, and we're going to give them a good product at the end of the day.
How do you see 4M impacting your future projects? So you're using us today. You've seen the value from 4M and what we deliver. How do you see 4M continuing to impact your future projects in 2025 and beyond?
I mean, right now you're part of our process, so it's going to be continue to be part of our process, like the front end and the back end of what we're doing. So, and as you grow and you add more features to the product, it's just going to become more and more valuable to us. So I'm looking forward to the journey with you. It's been fun so far.
What would you tell a DOT, a municipality, another SUE firm, anybody that's interested in exploring 4M? What would you tell them?
Give it a shot. Once you actually use it, and like I said, you can kind of validate data with your data, and just to kind of give yourself that initial comfort level. You're not going to know until you try it. Once you have tried it, you'll see the difference right away. It's an easy sell at that point.
What would you say if the industry just didn't evolve and we just kind of kept doing what we've been doing in terms of accessing utility data and continuing to just build the infrastructure the way we've been continuing to build and plan for these infrastructure projects? If we continue to keep doing what we've been doing, what do you think would happen?
I still think we'd be fine. You just lose some efficiency by not moving along with new technology. That's probably the biggest thing. I mean, you're still going to be doing the delay and waiting for this and that, and then or now at least the quicker you can get data, because no one's ever going to give you more time than you need to do a project. So it's always, hey, I need it sooner than later. So the faster we can get that data moving along, then the better off. So that's what's really going to help move things forward.
Yeah, accelerate project timelines, because I know there's more infrastructure demand than ever before with the bipartisan infrastructure law injecting $2 trillion. And then we have a skilled labor shortage, essentially not enough bodies to build or plan these projects, but we have all this money. So I think in order to build the America for tomorrow, we need to be able to do more with less. And so I think, to your point, if we didn't change, I think things could still get done, and we could still build the infrastructure that we need. It just might not be in the time we want it or actually really need it. So is there anything else in particular, Joseph, maybe I missed that you want to elaborate on or communicate in terms of the value 4M's brought?
One of the things you guys are really great at doing is reaching out to us and asking us, hey, what about this? Or if I have a question, we had a call a couple weeks ago just about some features I was kind of wondering if it was possible to do, and you guys definitely reached back out. We had the team together and we're able to kind of talk through and see if possibly something like that could be available. Or so that was really good that you're looking to move forward and listen to what we would need, and then also maybe even implement it. So which is even better. But yeah, there's some new features coming out that I'm very excited about in this last quarter. So looking forward to it.